So no, I'm not sort of slaving night and day in some called ministry of, abject poverty, having given all for Christ, and, now I'm crucifying myself just in case there's anything left. I mean, come on. God doesn't need that. It's not that sort of game. We're his children. And we're going to be like him. And it's all his doing. And we've just loved our time with him as children, being sent. But we're totally at rest. It's an eternal Sabbath for us. Every day is a Sabbath. Not just the seventh day, after some justified work and toil. This is pure gift, life eternal. You can't earn it. You find you've been given it because he loves you, and he's prepared you such that you will be able to live life eternal to the full, eternally. That's how much he's loved you. That he's brought you up accordingly. Here, in universes like this, what we call the world, the material world, all your mistakes and concerns all vanish into the past here. They get smaller and smaller until in the end you can't find them. They're gone. And what's left? The pure form. Yeah, oh yes, that's right. That's where we started, wasn't it? The pure form of heaven. Plato's pure forms. His pure thoughts. His perfectness, his completeness. And we're part of it. Because you see, we're his communion, his family, his fellowship, his company, his reason for living eternally, that we may live eternally in fullness of life too, in the utter overwhelming joy and love of his presence, and that he may enjoy the utter and overwhelming eternal love of our presence to him in his glory and love and kindness. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Well, I don't know. I think I should add here, I'm not talking about worshipping Plato. You do realise that, don't you? I mean, I may, as a youth, have got pretty close to spending a lot of time studying Plato, but, I was about 16. But I don't mean that, do I? I mean God. We can mean one thing and realise we haven't quite said it, or at least it's a bit ambiguous, especially if you don't have ears to hear. You think, my God, he's worshipping Plato. Mind you, I think Plato was on track. I think he did have something with his pure forms. And what we've got of Paul echoes what we've got of Plato, which is to see dimly, shadows, And that's what the cave in Plato's writing is about. We don't see the actual reality out there. We just see the shadows on the wall. And the shadows are moving much to what we do, of course. And we take this as reality, but in fact we got our backs to the sun. And remember, in that sort of culture, the sun is the giver of life. You know, it's hard to know really what, 600 BC odd, that sort of time, 560, whatever it was, I don't know. Well, it was 400, I think, for Plato. It was Socrates, it was more like 600, wasn't it? Not Socrates, Pythagoras. We have a Greek heritage, and well, as jon17 pointed out, it is certainly influenced, without question, deliberate influence of the, I say without question, you know what I mean, pretty obviously Persian influence. And Pythagoras spent some time in Persia after he'd spent something like 20 years in a Egyptian temple when Egypt opened up to outsiders. And he went on to Persia, and what came home was no doubt a mixture of both, and he was the most colourful character. This is Pythagoras, not your staid modern mathematician at all, of course, dressed in white and gold and wearing a crown and known as a miracle worker and a seer and as we have it, father of the mystery cults. Hence we get Mithraism and Christianity and all those mystery cults of the Mediterranean, seeded from Greece. But of course Plato is, I don't know, a couple of hundred years later, 400 and something, I think, BC. And we got things like The Republic and a lot of other books by him and a lot of other similar writers of the time. And who knows who wrote what and all the rest of it, of course, but I mean, it's what we've got in written form. And what we make of it is the Socratic logical discourse as an attempt to arrive at the truth, which is more the understanding of the pure forms in their application to the world we live in here, the material world, and what we make of it. And from this sort of Greek philosophy, we sort of strain out an understanding of logic, and even formal logic, which is a sort of mathematical type art, and has its place. And if you like, I was worshipping reason for a while. But of course I did realise in my heart that Mum was not a personification of reason, but of love. To me, you understand. And that love was this commitment to trust. And I knew she was committed to me. That's what I felt as a reality. And this was of incredible value to me, not having had her company really much at all until I was 5. So I was blessed from the beginning with love of Mum and the security of the rationality of Dad. Although I was scared of him, of course. Actually, I wasn't scared of him on my own. We got on all right. I was scared what he would do to Mum, or what would happen, and what would happen to me if Mum went. Yeah, that was the reality of self-interest, of course. We're blessed with self-interest. So I did all I could to support Mum. And by the grace of God, I was a blessing to her. Her reason for living. Mind you, but for me, she would probably have just gone and left him and found someone else, but she wouldn't have been any happier. We need the lessons that God allows us to come into, and we call them to ourselves. By our values, by what we value, we call the very lessons that we need. And so we travel to life eternal, to maturity, to graduation, by His grace and His loving kindness. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.